I think that we're all set with our technical issues. I think we're ready to greet Scott and to get started with that portion of the breakfast. But first, it's fabulous to see so many of you here. So thank you so much for coming and joining us today. And we're very, very glad to be able to have Lieutenant Scott Hatch with us. And he's going to discuss scams and identity theft and issues that continue to surface around us in our community and across the state and the country. But I wanted to tell you next month when we have our breakfast on Thursday, March 7th, Richard Saff is going to come and speak about model airplanes. And that was a connection through our very own Dick Boucher. But when I talked with him, with Rich, he was very enthusiastic about coming. He's very involved in a local model airplane group, which is actually national, right, Dick?
Oh, yeah.
And they did that lovely exhibit over at the library last year. So Rich said he'll bring model airplanes. It's even possible he might fly something, which would be very fun if we're all sucking. But thank you so much for being here. Just always glad to see so many people together.
Thank you.
And we hear you laughing and talking. It lifts us too in the kitchen.
Well, thank you for having breakfast.
Oh,
I appreciate it too.
Glad. I'm going to do some more cleanup.
All right.
But if anybody needs anything, we still have some coffee. Let me know.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I don't have any planes to fly. I apologize. So, today, as Colleen said, my name is Scott Hatch. I grew up here in Georgetown. My mom was over at Town Hall, Alma Hatch. She worked there for 40 plus years as a tax collector. So. I do have some ties to Georgetown, and I love it here. I've since moved to Bradford because at the time I couldn't afford Georgetown, so that's where I live here. It's only a few miles away, and my heart is still here. Been on the force since 1986. I'm a lieutenant over there in Georgetown. I work days. I used to work nights for 16 years. I was on the 11 to 7 shift, calling you people when you left your inside lights on in your cars and things like that at 2 in the morning to wake you up so your battery's not dead. Today I'm going to talk about some scams and some identity theft that target not only elderly people but everybody. They've been very frequent, very common, that we've been seeing a lot more of them, and people are getting very, very ingenious on how they do things. They really have you believing that something's going on. In Georgetown alone, just since last year, this is since January 1st of 2017, we have reported 134 fraud reports that we've taken. Different scams that people in Georgetown have reported. Now, if we have 134 that are reported, there's probably another 400 or 500 that are unreported that people just get a phone call and they don't call us and let us know. How many people here have received phone calls that they think might be scams on their phones, right? Quite frequently now, right? Block numbers, yep, every day. And I think some of you have actually come into the station to report some of these, and we've taken reports from people. And there are people in Georgetown that have been taken for thousands of dollars in these scams because they are believers that it's going on. Why do you suppose that the scammers target elderly people or older people?
Not up on current technology at all.
Right, you might not be up on current technology. How about you're trustworthy? You trust people, right? Yeah. Inherently, he's probably been scammed too many times. He doesn't have any trust anymore, right? But you trust people. You tend to be more trustworthy.
We used to.
And you used to, right? With age comes wisdom. Yeah, it does. But you may not recognize sometimes that you're being scammed. Our chief's family member called the other day that said Chief Cudmore is in trouble and needs money. And they had a lot of information on him. And of course, the family member called him and said, "Are you in trouble?" And no, they didn't fall for the scam. But you never know where you're going to get the call. If you Google, go ahead.
Last year, I had the IRS call me 3 times. I finally told them, come get me.
Yeah, and you reported it too,
Yeah.
didn't you? You came in and talked to me. And the IRS called me and told me I was out. I don't remember the amount. This was about a year and a half ago. That I owed them thousands of dollars. I think it was like $6,000. So I played with them for over a half an hour on the phone. In fact, I was going to visit my mother at the nursing facility she was at in Lawrence, and I was in Haverhill at the time. So I was on the phone with this person telling me that I owed thousands of dollars to the IRS. I finally got them down to let me pay $2,000 if I went to CVS and got gift cards in the amount of $2,000 and then gave them the numbers. But they wouldn't let me off the phone. If I get off the phone, someone's going to come to arrest me. There's warrants in federal court and all this other stuff. So I was acting nervous. Oh, really? I hope nobody comes and gets me. So after a half an hour, because I was going to Lawrence, once I got to the place where my mom was staying, I couldn't stay on the phone any longer. I said, well, I'm glad I wasted your time for a half an hour. You weren't able to scam anybody else for a half an hour. I said a couple other things that I'm not going to say right now, but I let them know that I wasn't happy with what was going on, and that I knew it was a scam, and they were very upset that I wasted their time. And you can hear things going on in the background. So, you know, it's real life. It happens to us all the time at the police station. We call 3 or 4 people a month just to play with them. You know, when someone comes in, we'll call the phone numbers.
I was constantly being pestered by the IRS is currently have a lawsuit, preparing a lawsuit against you. You gotta do this. Last year there was the phone about 6 times.
Yep.
So the 6th time I said, okay, fine, and I started chatting with the person on the line. They wanted social security, I said, wait a minute, I said, let me speak to you, supervisor. Well, so I can take that well, very thick accent. I said, I want to speak to the supervisor. I won't talk to this, okay, so she gives me this other guy.
Yep.
You know, thick accent, oh, how can I help you? I said, well, let me just say this. I said, look, I'm a fraud investigator for the IRS, and I haven't heard a single word from this.
Yep.
A single call from
Well, that's what they do. I'm going to pass you to a supervisor. You know, when you're not paying attention, I'm going to pass you to a supervisor. And so you're thinking, you know, okay, I'm getting someone. If they call you, don't fall for it. People will not call you. The IRS will not call you. You may call them, and then they may ask for information if you know who you're calling. But if you get a call from people asking for money, don't give it. That's the only advice I can give today. Don't give any money. What do you think the most prevalent scams are?
Your son has been kidnapped, all of them for ransom.
And do they know a little bit about your son? How do they know?
Facebook.
Facebook, right? Google it. I Googled my mom's phone number today. She's passed away, so I wanted to learn information about my mom. So I Googled her phone number. I just picked up her phone number here in Georgetown. I learned that she lived at 14 Linden Circle. I learned the house, the size of the house, how much land she owns, how long she's owned the house. I learned all her kids' names, which I know, by the way. All her kids' names. I knew their dates, their ages, my dad's age, he's passed as well. All the neighbors' names.
I hope you will mention.
I was mentioned. Oh yeah, all the neighbors' names. So I could say, and I'll use a fake name. John Smith lives 2 houses away. I say, hi, this is John Smith. I'm calling from down the street. You know, I'm in trouble. Can you help me out or something? You know, something to that effect. And, oh, John, you know, we've known each other for a long time. I'll be glad to, you know, help you. So people use this information. All they have to do is Google things. And when they see retired, things like that on there, then they say, all right, maybe here's a chance. My son's name is here. My daughter's name is here. My brother-in-law. All these names of who she's related to are on here. So this is all information you can get just by putting in your phone number. And they work hard on that, getting things like that. So that's it. Your kid's in trouble. Your kid's in an accident. Your grandchild. They like to play on the heartstrings, right? What else?
Microsoft, your license is this, you've got some kind of problem with your computer.
This is huge, right? Microsoft, give me your password, all right? Let me get into your computer. And then they're in your computer. They're moving the mouse for you, all right? So now they have all your information, especially if you have your passwords in your computer in a locked area. They have all your information. They can get into that. They learn a lot about you. They get your social security number, right? Which now leads to identity theft. And
We don't even answer, though. We have an answer machine, don't leave a message about what the problem is.
right, some people don't answer, but if you if you send out a message to 10,000 people and you get 30 people answering, and you can get, you know, $10,000 from each of those people, then it's a lot.
I read in the AARP, the obituaries are an area where scammers, if you can read it, an awful lot of information, and for those who folks who have lost somebody, they're very vulnerable.
Not only getting information on, well, when someone passes away, people can use that social security number, and a lot of people will never know. All right, so if you have loved ones that pass away, make sure you notify, you know, the right authorities to say the social security number. Check their credit reports. You know their social security number. Check their credit reports and know what's on there, so you know if someone's using their social security number. But not only that, but even some funeral homes, some funeral directors say you need this casket. You know, it's the top of the line casket instead of, you know, but I'm being cremated. You know, you don't. So there's different things where they prey on the heartstrings, say you don't know what you need. All right. But you're right, there are scammers that do that. They look at the obituaries. You're at a funeral. What's happening at your house? They know you're not home, right? So there's a lot of times when we have funerals in town or funerals of, you know, people, we've been asked to watch the houses and keep an eye on the houses, and we do that because we know.
We all know about people being preyed upon. But what are the authorities, being the police, the FBI, or whoever else is in charge of it? How many did they catch?
Not many. It's very difficult because mostly it's overseas. It's accounts that pop up and then they're gone. You know, once they fill up, you know, a week's time, by the time you get involved, everything's gone. There's no real names attached. There's no real identities attached. It's very difficult. Very few of them get caught. There's some that we have stopped in the middle, like somebody will write a check and send it. Maybe it's Western Union or something. We can interrupt it. We did one a couple weeks ago that was a Walmart transaction. They went to Walmart and sent money somewhere. We called Walmart, and before the money had been actually picked up at the other end, they stopped the transaction. That was like $2,000, and that was the first payment. So somebody had done that. They came in afterwards and like, I don't know about this. And we're like, stop, you know. We basically took a little bit of information and ran in with the Walmart account and said stop, and we just got it just in time. That poor person was fortunate. There's a lot that aren't so fortunate. There's a whole bunch of scams though. I'll go over a few. There's health insurance scams, right? Everybody has probably Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, some sort of health insurance or something like that. You know, better your health insurance. Do this. If you get things online where you're not sure, don't do it. Don't go to different areas and, you know, seek that assistance unless you're on their specific website. You know, the Medicare website or the, you know, the insurance websites or something like that. Counterfeiting prescription drugs is starting to get popular, where people, they don't want to go to a local pharmacy because it costs a lot of money, so they'll go online from drug agents or drug purchasing places and purchase drugs. There's a few that aren't real out there, so you send them whatever for your 3-month supply, because it's generally you get 3 months supply. You send them, you know, $1,000 and you never see any medication come back. So just reputable companies, if you're doing research and trying to find things online, make sure you have reputable companies. Anti-aging products, all right? You guys, in case you want to get rid of some wrinkles, you know, these are some of the scams that target people. Obviously, the telemarketing. I get calls all the time from the Police Benevolent Association, a Police Relief Association, a Police Officers Died in the Line of Duties Association. So I talk to them, not as a police officer, as the citizen. I talk to them for a while and say, all right, where's this money going? Does any go to Massachusetts? Can you tell me where in Massachusetts it's gone? Because that's where I live. And eventually they hang up, you know, because I talk there. They know they're not getting anywhere with me, and I just keep going on and on. But nowadays, if you're getting calls again for any money or anything, research. If you get a call and say, you know, I'm calling for the Georgetown Police Department, we're calling looking for money. Say, well, Georgetown, I've lived here all my life, you know, it's a nice place, I'd like to donate some money, you know. You'll know if we're asking for donations. We'll let you know. I'll call the police department. Is anybody asking for donations? You know, there may be a company that's asking on behalf of police departments. They may have marketing companies that go out there. and ask on behalf of police departments. We haven't done that for years and years. So, and I don't see it happening in the foreseeable future. So unless you can actually get the information, call the police department. You folks doing anything seeking donations, if they say no, then report it. At least we can call the phone numbers and kind of give them a hard time for a little while and see where it is. There's a lot of times you'll get a phone number and it might look like a local number. It's called spoofing. I got a phone call one day and it had my daughter's picture. It said Casey. I'm like, So I thought my daughter was calling and it was a fake call, but used her number. So I answered and they started talking to me. I'm like, who is this? What do you have? Your daughter's in trouble and stuff. So they were pretending they had her phone. So you never know. That's called spoofing, and they're doing that as well. You may get a number.
How did they get a 352 number?
Mine was a cell phone. It was a cell phone. I don't know how they do it. And I don't know how they make it so her number comes up on my phone as if it's coming from her. So I'm not sure how they do that. The technology that they have, they spend a lot of time and a lot of money trying to get your money. And they're good at it. You know? How do you learn about bank robbers, and how do you learn about safecrackers, and how do you learn about car thieves? The car thieves show you how they do it. The bank robbers, now gone good, show you how they get into the safes, how they pick things, right? These are how you learn how things are done. Well, this is how the scammers work. They do a good job, and then they get caught, and then this is how we do it.
Almost every day at our house we get, it says Massachusetts. And my wife said if the message is left, that's okay, because we're on no call list, so I'm guessing that they can't leave a message if you're on a no call list.
No, well, we'd think, right? But no call lists change. They expire. People sell your number to other people. So you may be on a no-call list, and once you are a targeted person that has given money, they will now sell your number as a person that gives money. All right? There's a lot of charities out there that are frauds. There was an incident, I can't even remember where it was, recently that, well, there was a couple. We had, there was a gentleman that supposedly last year that ran out of gas. Or a girl ran out of gas, and the gentleman, a homeless person, gave her $10 to get gas in her car, right?
Yeah.
And this turned out to be a big scam, and they did the GoFundMe page and everything else. When the hurricanes and all the natural disasters come in, and they have the GoFundMe page, make sure you verify that GoFundMe page, because there are people out there that will set up a page and it's not legit. It just goes right into an account, and they get the money. All right. So again, they prey on the heartstrings of people that just want to send money. And that's where, you know, charities, there's legitimate charities out there as well that may, you know, coerce you to spend more than you actually have, you know, that you're involved with. So, you know, just be careful.
There was a piece of the news after 9/11, and, you know, everybody's donating to the United Way, and everybody,
Right.
you know, somebody did a search into it, and they said 6 cents out of every dollar you give actually went to the 9/11 fund. The rest went to support other activities that United Way had.
Right. This.
Like their $1 million salaries for their CEO.
Yeah, there's different charities that obviously give, every charity that's out there ultimately does help people, but there are some that give more of the monies to the people that need it as opposed to the administration or the management or running the charity themselves. And you can get that information online, what charities and what their CEOs and what percentage goes to the people, and make your own decisions based on that.
6 cents out of a dollar.
That's not a lot, right? But if it's, you know, $7 billion, 6 cents out of a dollar is not bad either, right? Just looking at some of these other scams. The email and the phishing, you get something in the email. As you said, you know, you might get something from Microsoft, or you might get something that says, your email's been corrupted, please download this, or something. Now they have a keylogger on your system or something where they can follow you around and get your passwords. Has anybody had someone come to their house and say, I'd like to take some trees down, or maybe pave your driveway?
About putting a new roof on your house.
Or put a new roof on?
You know, we can give you a big discount, put a new roof on your house.
All right. We had a call 2 days ago in Georgetown for a suspicious vehicle. It was over on Meadowview Road, suspicious pickup truck. And the people were going door to door doing tree work. 2 of them had warrants for their arrest. There were only 3 in the vehicle. 2 had warrants. Were they doing tree work? I think they were actually soliciting for tree work, which in Georgetown you can't solicit without a permit. So the person should actually have a permit with an ID on them, and it should be given by the Georgetown Police Department. So unless it's a charity. So tree work, pavement work, anything like that, if they come to your door and they don't show a Georgetown Police solicitation permit, then call in and report it. We have a lot of people that will knock on doors, and if you don't answer, they'll go around the back and go in your house. That's how they do it. They pretend they're doing tree work, or they're pretending they're doing work, and they're breaking in. So you don't know who's coming to your door. They could be 100% legitimate. These people were handing out flyers, all right? So 2 of them got arrested for the warrants, and the other one got a violation for solicitation without a permit. So at least now, you know, we know that these people aren't going to come back because they got caught, obviously. Do I think they were breaking into houses? Not at the time, but you never know. Okay.
How about these guys that park on the street? They work for insurance companies. A neighbor of mine was out on workers' comp years back.
Yep.
And he would park here, park there, all over the place.
We get several calls for
Do they have to register with the police?
No, they don't have to, but we get several that do. Most do. They'll come in and say, I'm in a black Ford Escort, I'm on Marlboro Road today. If you get a call. Okay. So if someone calls and said there's a suspicious motor vehicle, we're aware of it, but we'll still go up in case there's 2 or something, but we're aware of it. Oh, there's a lot of private investigators out there that park in different
They
areas.
followed him for probably a year and a half.
Yep.
They'd come and they'd go, come and go.
But they're legitimate. And that's their job, is to see that that person's not frauding the insurance company or something like that, but that is their job.
It's pretty hard to fraud them when the whole thing is fraud.
But the nice thing though, if you see that, feel free to call. A lot of people don't want to call, they don't want to report the fraud. We learn about scams by you folks. A lot of them we don't know about. We'll say, wow, we haven't heard that one yet. Somebody's selling something on Craigslist or something on Facebook Marketplace or something that says, I'll send you a check. They're asking, you know, $1,500 for something. I'll send you a check for $1,700. If you cash this check and send me the $1,500 back, you can use the $200 as a, you know, a thing or whatever, or send you so now you're sending them real cash back. They're giving you a fake check. By the time the bank will cash it, by the time it doesn't clear, which is like 3 or 4 days, you've already sent that money back, so they're getting an actual cash value of $1,500 and you're getting nothing.
Is your safe zone utilized?
Yes.
Is it on the camera?
Yep, the safe zone was actually instituted by myself probably, I want to say, it might be 10 years ago, maybe 8, probably about 8 years ago now. I put it out there, I said to the chief, I'd heard about it somewhere, West Coast or something had one. I heard about it and I said, if we buy 2 signs, it's recorded. It's on video out there. We don't monitor it 100%, it's on, but we're not looking at it, you know, per se all the time, like staring at the camera, but it is on in front of us. That people come and can use that as a safe zone because it's a police department. If someone's going to steal your money or rob you, there's a good chance they're not going to do it in front of the police department, we hope. You know, maybe the back parking lot of Walmart or something might not be a good place to have a meetup. But yeah, that thing's, it's working well, and it actually...
People in the town know about the safe zone.
I think, well, years ago, right after I put it out there, Fox 25 News called and they came and did an actual thing that day.
We were the vanguard.
Yeah, and it was in the Aruba Times. I have the newspaper, so I don't know why it was there, but I saw it in Aruba Times. I wish I was there to pick up the newspaper.
Aruba Today.
Yeah, Aruba Today, okay. So, yeah, and now a lot of departments do that. A lot of police departments have an internet safe zone or that type of thing. And it's great if you're selling things or purchasing things to meet there. And there's 2 parking spaces, so you can do your transaction, nobody bothers you. If you're selling a camper, we'd rather not have you come there with it, but, you know, things like that, small things. Go ahead.
You haven't mentioned mail, I don't think, maybe you have, but.
Mail fraud?
Yeah, well, it's not fraud, but it's just, you know, I've got an elderly relative that I help out. And I think if you send $25 to one, yeah, he just gets stuff in the mail, we're gonna give you $500,
Yep.
send $25, you know, and he doesn't know what's real, you know, because the addresses look like Medicare or, and things of that sort. And I mean, just constant.
If you get something in the mail that's a generic mail, unless you ask someone to send you something, you get something in the mail, there's a good chance it's fraud. You know, you've won the sweepstakes. You have a chance to get out of your timeshare condo, or just, you know, for this short money. Lawyers for cheap, things like that. Any type of mail or interaction. I would say anytime someone comes to you to ask you to give them money, should be, right here, it should say, that's not really what's supposed to happen here. I should be going to you to see. You know, if I want my roof done, I'm gonna call a roofer. I don't need them coming to my front door, right? People will come and do your driveway. You know, your driveway looks bad. I'll do it for $1,000. Well, that's a pretty good deal. Oh, well, we got pretty much done, but, you know, we needed more mix, so now it's $1,500. We noticed there was, you know, it wasn't setting right because you had a hill over here. Now it's $1,800. So by the time you're done, it's $2,500, and your driveway is half done while they're doing this. So you really have no choice at that point but to say, all right, finish, you know, and get out of here, or you call the police. You know, you start noticing that you're getting scammed, call the police. They don't want the police there. All right, the last people they want to see is the police. So if we get there and say, you said 1,000, finish it up, you know, we can't force them to do it, but, you know, we can coerce, so to speak, by saying, you know, this is what you want to do.
Shouldn't do it without a contract anyway.
Right, there should be a contract, something written. But sometimes it's hard. Again, you start to trust people, and people start to learn, you know, who they can pick on, who they can prey on. There's a lot of people that will go to your door and maybe say, I'm the water department, we need to check your meter downstairs. Or with the gas company, we're out here checking your meter, and now we notice there's a leak, and we go inside, and there'll be two of them. So while one is keeping you busy, the other one might start to meander around your house. And where they're gonna go? Probably up to the bedroom, check around the jewelry area and things like that. So generally, everybody should have some credentials, real credentials. If you have someone from Georgetown, I mean, we have our own water, we have our own light, right? So we don't have our own gas, but you know that people come into your house, or you'll at least be able to call a phone number local and say, hey, you know, there's a truck out here, you know, what's going on? So it's just some of the little things, you know, to keep in mind. Again, if someone's asking you for money, be very apprehensive. I'm not saying don't give it, you know, give it where it's right, and give it, you know, where you believe it's going to go to the right places. So I'm going to read just a few of the little narratives. They're very short. The reporting party in the station reported Craigslist scam in progress. The online buyer is supposed to pick up the car today, but mailed the reporting party a check for more money than the purchase price. Asked the reporting party to cash the check. The reporting party was sent a $4,150 check by the buyer and asked him to cash the check at the bank. Buyer informed him once the check was cashed to send the funds via Western Union, and he will send out the hauling crew to pick up the vehicle. And it goes on a little bit. He didn't do it. He's at the police station reporting.
Can you legally cash that check and keep the money?
No, because it's a bad check.
Oh.
So they may cash it, but then they're gonna say it's a bad check, now you owe us the money. So you're out. Caller just wanted to advise us a scam he received that stated if he didn't call back, they would call the local police and have him arrested. He wanted it on record. We get a lot of those. There's people in town that are receiving calls that says, call from a local lawyer in Georgetown, who's actually a local lawyer in Georgetown, and that they have information. And so that's been fake on a couple occasions. Caller wanted to speak to an officer. He got a call that he didn't do jury duty. It's a federal offense. He has to go to the sheriff's department or send them money. He's gonna get arrested. Send them money, right? It's a federal scam. Email account hacked. send a check for $6,400 to Kentucky. The check was stopped before it made it to Kentucky. So they did send the check, $6,400, and the check was stopped before it made it to Kentucky. The jail ruse is huge lately, and probably jail, IRS, and your child or your grandchild is in trouble. They're probably the three most common. There's coupon problems with pizza places. They go and they say, here's a coupon, I'm going to use this, all right, $18. All the coupon doesn't count, but then the coupon's used elsewhere and things like that. So people report that. Anyone had a debit card on identity theft? Anyone had their credit card compromised? Now the credit card companies are getting pretty good. I was in Maine last weekend and I made a transaction in Irving, and then I made, probably about an hour later, I made another transaction and my card was denied. Now, I say they're getting pretty good. That kind of bothered me a little bit because I needed to use the card. I used another one, and I called the company and they said we weren't sure because we didn't know if the transactions were correct. You don't generally do transactions like that or whatever. I said, all right, thank you for watching out, but can I please put it back on so I can use it? The credit card companies are getting a little better at notifying the person that owns the credit card that it's a scam. But be careful as well as those, you might get something on the internet that says your credit card, your Capital One card has been compromised. Please, send this, click on here, and they'll ask you for all the Capital One card information, put it in, put your number on the back end. Now they have it, and it's a scam. So if you get a call like that, call the number on the back of your card. Don't do it on the internet, don't do it elsewhere, because a lot of times that's how they get your card number.
They called me. It was interesting. I was in South Carolina, and I get a phone call from the bank, and I'm saying, "Oh, what's happening? Well, your card, did you have an Uber ride, blah, blah, blah?" And I said, "No, I never had a taxi ride. I'm here at whatever it may be. And we think your card is compromised." And I said, "Oh, that's interesting. So what do we do?" So she said, "Well, we're going to have to cancel it for you. You can't use it, et cetera, et cetera." I said, "Well, I need it for tomorrow." And he said, "Well, we'll have it in your hands in 24 hours. They said that FedEx, and they get the card, they canceled the other one. And so they were really on the ball.
So they caught something for him. He was charged for an Uber ride that he didn't take, in case you didn't hear. And they called him and said, "Did you do this?" He said, "No." They canceled his card right away and sent him on FedEx within 24 hours. You need the card. Everybody uses those now. Too many people carry
I've
cash.
got mine set up, so anything over a certain amount, they call me immediately.
Yep. Yeah, you can make arrangements through your profile and things, transactions or things like that. A lot of internet transactions that take place. One of our employees' friends called us the other day and she said, "My name is on a website for selling wind chimes." And she doesn't sell wind chimes. So we went on the website, and it was a beautiful website. If you want to buy wind chimes, it's a great place to go, except it's a scam, right? So there's a whole bunch of wind chimes, probably 200 that you can purchase from, prices low to really high. And her name as the owner, and any issues, contact this person out of Haverhill. So she was like, and there was a phone number in there. So I called, and the phone number went to a telemarketing type place that was looking for credit card information and things like that. They wanted to send me a $100 gift card. All I had to do was pay $2.95 shipping. I said, "Wow, that sounds like a great deal." So we talked to them for a while. In the background, you hear other people talking. I said, "It sounds like you're in a fight. Are you okay?" I'm saying things like that. "Oh, we're fine." People with accents. I was talking to, and then I got transferred to a supervisor, another person in the background. You still hear other telemarketers talking and things like that. We gave them a gift card number. The gift card didn't have any money on it, so I gave them the gift card number to try to see what would happen. "Oh yeah, okay, well we're good there," and it was just like a Visa gift card with no money left on it, but it was a legitimate number. And then they say, "Well, no, wait, it doesn't work, it's not working," so they come back. So they legitimately checked to see if this guy, I want to see how far they would go, checked to see if this card had any money on it. And if I had given them a real card right there, I would have been out not $295, but who knows what that card allows. So the $295 is just to get you, to give them the card number. Once they get that card number, they can take whatever they want out of that card, just do a cash transaction.
I was reading in a magazine that if you're in a supermarket, you got your wallet in your back pocket, there's, I don't know if this is hyperbole or not, a device where they can get the information off of your wallet.
I haven't heard that.
I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me.
How it is or whatever, but it said there is a device where if you're standing there, they can look behind you and electronically copy it. I don't know how accurate that is.
It would not surprise me, but I haven't heard anything like, as far as those devices. We haven't had any contact with that.
So you can't trace these numbers that you phone.
You can try, but they generally, you'll call them and it'll say this number's no longer in service, or it's those temporary phones that people can buy that can't be tracked.
A lot of these things you see cheap, just go to the bottom and read the terms and conditions before you go through the rest of it. They got stuff hidden in there
Oh, yeah.
that you would be liable for.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't have
Yeah,
the
I mean, there's some things, there's credit cards that, you don't pay them, they go from 12% to 46%, so.
Do most of the cards cover that? I mean, I was fortunate, my card covered it, it didn't cost me anything.
I have not heard of any credit card companies not honoring fraudulent activity. So I have not heard of any companies not.
So most of them,
Most of
if
them
it is,
do.
you get it
Most-
reported.
Right, you report it, and they ask you to make a police report.
Yeah.
So they want something that you actually have gone to the police department. So we get several requests for reports from the people. I just want to report my card stolen, was used in, Georgia, but they'll generally try like a $2 transaction. You'll get a little one, and then you'll get a big one afterwards. They want to see if it works.
I was able, I paid it all because it was there, just to be
Yeah.
sure I didn't even get charged the interest.
Right.
So that was, I didn't really get an answer on that.
Yeah. Yeah, so, generally, credit card companies, from what I understand, I've never heard of someone not honoring their terms.
There's a lot of stuff advertised on television. Do they check before they allow it to be advertised?
I have no idea.
You know,
And what are you referring to?
the pillows, all right?
They're sending pillows.
Yeah, but I mean.
Do they make you sleep better? I don't know. Will you sleep like a baby with this pillow? I'm not sure. I guess, if they send 1 million people a pillow, 500,000 are happy with it and 500,000 aren't, they do all right?
No, I'm just thinking about, they say call this number and give you a credit card number and things like that.
Yeah, I would generally say if someone's advertising on television, they've spent a lot of money to do that, that it's probably not fraudulent. It's the little things, it's the mail fraud, the mail scams. My parents still get mail on Linden Circle, they still get mail all the time. Mr. Fowler was saying that it just, asking for money, asking for this, asking magazine sales, things like that, asking for a lot of money. It's just, they prey on numbers. If you send out a bunch, someone's gonna bite.
I'm kind of surprised, like at Crosby's or any of these Market Basket, whatever it may be, using your credit card to purchase whatever the items may be also. Never check an ID, never check it. And I was at a liquor store one time, and I said, I was signing it, and I said, well, that doesn't look like my receipt. He says, oh, don't worry about it, just put something down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing, there's more fraud going on with that, credit cards like that. It's
Well,
incredible.
now they say if it's under $100, they don't even check, right? Or something
Right,
like that.
exactly.
The back of my credit card says check ID. There's no name on it. I wrote check ID. They never asked me that. Right?
That's my point.
They don't look at the back of the card.
Most places don't even want a signature anymore.
Right. So if I lost this, somebody could use it. Just go and use it as a credit card.
But I had this kid in Crosby's just the other day too. I love this line, he gets in line. He had a chewing gum. He just bought some chewing gum and he used the credit card.
Yep.
And I'm looking at this kid and I'm saying, it probably cost 50 cents, whatever it was. And he's using a credit card and I just thought to myself, and she never checked it, never checked his ID or anything else. I'm wondering if it's a scam. He's just checking to see if it works. And then he goes out and does something else.
Possibly, except they generally don't like to go to places that have cameras. So You know, they'll kind of do it like maybe a, you know, a place that might not have cameras, a convenience store that, you know, the cameras might not be very good or something like that, because they don't want their face known. So once that transaction comes up at noontime, you know, at Crosby's, well, there's the person on camera. So that's how a lot of people are caught.
People with identical names. Our cousin lived in Linfield. Some guy in Maryland with the identical name searched for people with his name, assumed the cousin, say, Harry Smith in Linfield, called the credit card company, said he had moved to his current address, and proceeded from there to get issued credit cards. He started to buy. He'd pay a little bit on the credit card and started to buy here and there and here and there, all kinds of furniture. And the only thing that saved the cousin in Linfield, he had to get out to the police station, and where I think it was in Maryland someplace, with his high school yearbook, his birth certificate, all that stuff, because they had exactly the same identical name.
Yep.
And they decided not to prosecute because the guy had AIDS and he was ready to die. And what he's doing is he's accumulating this wealth of goods that he could leave to his relatives.
They're amazing. People would spend more time being productive instead of stealing other people's money. It'd be great.
That's productive.
Yeah, that is productive for them, this particular person. Anybody else have any other frauds or scams that they've heard about? That?
Offers of gift cards come over the computer. I generally have that little button that says delete, but am I passing up a lot of money?
No.
Am I playing it
Who,
safe?
why would someone give you money?
I don't know.
You're a nice guy, but they're not gonna. They're probably not gonna give you money, right?
He's not.
He's not a nice guy.
Why?
No, what they might say is they say, I'm gonna give you a gift card for $100, just send back, you know, $15 for handling fees. So now they'll get the $15. And if they do that to, you know, 100,000 people, that's a good payday. So.
You can have one unfortunate incident without not answering the phone. Unless it's said, last weekend, Al fell, and he pressed his lifeline button, and Lifeline tried to call me to go pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought it's an advertisement from Lifeline, he never answered the phone.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, you have to figure out whether you want to answer the phone or not. If it's a blocked number or a number you don't recognize, you know, sometimes you hesitate. If it's important, there's a good chance they'll leave a message. You know, if you have an answer machine.
get back to,
Yeah. So there's a good.
at the age where Lifeline would be chasing me, so.
Right, right. Well, they do solicit.
Well, we had a woman from the Better Business Bureau give a talk. She said, don't answer the phone, let it go to the answering machine, right? And you're much safer and better off.
Right. We very rarely answer our phone. My phone's unlisted at home and I get calls. How does that work? So, you know, how do people get the number? I get calls all the time.
You get a lot of calls now coming in, a Georgetown number. It's not a Georgetown number.
Somebody got a 352-5702 number in one of these reports, and it was someone, it was a scam actually. It was a Georgetown number, so you recognize the 352, you recognize the number. And that was a scam that someone was trying to do. You'll get the calls, you know, for the water department or the, you know, emergency calls or something from Georgetown. It might be a number you don't recognize, but there's always a message. So, you know, once you see the light blinking or you get a message on your cell phone, you know, all right, it's probably legitimate, so you answer it at that point. You look at it.
Plus you get a lot of calls. If you want to play with it, you can't, they don't answer. They call you,
What?
and let it ring, and that's it.
Yeah, oh yeah. Which,
I'm saying every year they have a hackers convention in Las Vegas, and the United States government actually sends people there to hire the best hackers to work for the U.S. government. That's true.
yeah. Well, what did I say? How do you know how cars are stolen? You ask people to steal the cars, right?
Has that diminished since the new push button start on the cars?
I don't know, we don't get a lot of stolen cars in Georgetown, so we still get a lot of reports of stolen cars around. The problem is people leave them running. You know? That's the problem.
Oh, yeah, warm 'em up.
Just take it, they gotta warm them up. The push button start, the weird thing about the push button start is you can start your car and then you have the keys, you walk out with the keys or something, you walk away. The person can still take the car, it's just once they shut it off, they can't restart it because the key's on with it. So you have to be careful with that, you have to make sure you lock it and everything else. So there are systems that, even if the key's away, it doesn't shut off automatically. I'm sure if you had
Some
a,
cars work more in pieces than together.
right, exactly. Anything else, any other questions? Excellent.
They said that one state, I don't remember what it was, has already passed a law, $50 fine. If the police go by and they see an automobile warming up in the driveway, I don't think it's.
There is a mass law for idling more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, they said that.
We haven't enforced that for a while.
That's what he was talking about, instituting some kind of a law like that.
Yeah.
But there wasn't gonna be $50, it was gonna be $150.
Massachusetts has a law in idling
Is it
car laws.
already?
Yeah, and I think it's like
It's been
5, it's 5 minutes, yeah, it's like $5. But it also has a law that says you have to carry a red light behind your carriage when it goes down the road. So, you know, they haven't updated them in a couple of weeks. So I'm gonna say that.
I'm working at MIT.
Intersections?
Yeah.
MIT, and there's a line that goes from Brighton over to the food place in Chelsea. The train came down, we were on the tracks with the crane. We stopped the train, nobody told us what was coming. So the police go to the train engine and told the guy to back it up. He can't back it up because it's, half a mile of cars there. The cops started to come up on the engine, and the engineer told him, you can't come up here unless you're a federal agent. I didn't realize that.
I don't realize that either.
I mean, we sat there for at least 30 minutes before we could get off the tracks.
Yep.
And the police just hung around.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're under different laws.
Right. All right, well, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you.